Hey, welcome to the Peculiar Ones podcast. My name's Mark Campbell, and today you get part 2 of a two-parter with Coach Justin Redemer. If you're tuning in on the YouTube channel, it's just another week of a frozen frame because my camera went wonky last week in the gymnasium there at Hayward High. If you missed part 1, go back and listen to it if you can. If you can't, what we talked about was just how Justin got into Hayward, what he sacrificed to get there, what he's doing there, his philosophy on teaching inner city youth English and the game of football, and he's passionate about it. And today we're going to hear some of the realities when you become one with the thing, as he says, when you follow your calling, your urges to what you think is the reasons we're walking the earth. And let me tell you, it's always peculiar when you chase that thing. If I have to describe what that thing is, you haven't experienced it yet. And those of you who have, that yearning, that I've got to do this. This thing is why I'm walking the planet in this season of my life. Well, there is a cost to that, always worth the cost. But today we're going to hear from Justin on some of the realities, both good and bad, challenging and blessing. Enjoy part 2 of the Peculiar Ones with Justin Redemer. Wow. Hardest year of your coaching career and teaching career, would you say, last year?
I mean, kind of. If in some ways, yeah. So I counted in as of December. I lost a former player / student last December. Then my team mom passed away. My star player died in a drowning accident, and then just went to a funeral 3 weeks ago for another player who's a 4-year player for me who died in a car accident. So in that way, yeah, it was pretty tough.
I wasn't even aware of the car accident.
Yeah. That just happened. Yeah.
How old is he?
He was 20. He was 20.
So past student.
Yeah. A 4-year starter for me.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So you have shepherded these people through all these losses and tragedies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What have you learned through that process? Because that's where, you get a lot of, you're the coach, you're a teacher, you're well-loved, lots of, not so much accolades, I don't think, but identity.
Well, it's kind of strange. This was also our most successful season so far at this program,
In football.
In football. Yeah. I mean, what did I learn? Jeez. I'd have to think about it. I think
a couple lessons.
Yeah. I mean, one is that to be willing to enter into people's pain. It's a hard thing for people to do. They want to avoid other people's pain. They don't know what to do about it. And one of the things I learned to do is just to go into it and be willing to sit with them in it. I like the
and not fix it.
And not you can't you can't fix it.
No,
there's nothing you
but
can do.
I'm a fixer, so I get kind of wow, I want to bring some salve. I want to bring some blessing.
Yeah.
And the way you just phrased it.
Yeah, so my player that drowned, I would just go sit with his dad. We'd sit for an hour. Sometimes we'd talk. Sometimes we'd just sit there.
And he lived close.
8 houses down.
Oh.
His son used to babysit for us.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. He was a 4-year starter too, and his older brother was a 2-year starter for me. Great quarterback. So that's one, is just to be willing to enter into people's pain. And number 2 is I think you realize the smallest of gestures can have this significant meaning. I think for example, when this is 2 years ago, I had a player who was murdered off Princeton Smalley in Cherryland, and just showing up with his jersey that he had worn, and giving it to his dad, it was this super important thing for them.
Sure, can't even imagine.
Same thing with the player that passed away. I was at the funeral 2-3 weeks ago, and I brought his jersey, or not his jersey, but the same number jersey from when he was a senior, and gave it to his mom, and she was just, I was made the guest of honor at this Tongan funeral off 23rd, right? All Tongan, no English.
23rd in Oakland?
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
It's all Tongan now?
The church there is the Cielo Tonga, which is the official church of the Kingdom of Tonga, and that's where the funeral was, and that's where their family attended. And so, just doing something like that was just this hugely important thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So those 2 lessons off the top. Now, what does that do to your soul? I mean, you're pressing into other people's pain.
Yeah.
and you have to still function.
Yeah.
I mean, what makeup would you say what does that do to your soul?
I mean, I've had some. It hasn't been easy. I've had some moments where I've kind of broken a little bit. You know, there's been a lot of struggle, but at the same time, you know, I think I thought I was coming here to coach football, and I'm pretty sure that God brought me here for more than just coaching football.
Sure.
Right. Like
Sure.
that. Like that's been evident. In terms of my soul, I mean, if anything, it's made the reality of the necessity of the gospel more clear. Like we're going to die. Like, you could die driving home, you know, and so like, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Right. And how do you want to live? And who do you want to be? Right. Because that's going to all come out. Yeah.
Your kids have watched all this
Yeah.
firsthand.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? What do you think they're thinking and learning?
Yeah, very different than how I grew up. I grew up in a place much more sheltered.
Where'd you grow up?
In Ridgefield, Connecticut.
Okay.
Think like Danville.
Danville, okay.
Like a Danville
In Connecticut.
kind of place. In Connecticut, yeah.
East Coast.
Like a Moraga, Orinda kind of place, right? So yeah, way less sheltered. The things that they've been exposed to much earlier than I ever was or never was. I think they're seeing, well, first of all, I think that there's a couple things. I think, you know, one of my favorite things is my oldest kind of reminds me of you to a certain extent.
He's the hustler.
He's a hustler, right? He was bringing Pokemon to Sunday school, turning around selling them for adventure bucks, turning those adventure bucks buying Lego sets.
Perfect.
And he actually drove up the market, like he bought out.
Influenced the market.
Oh yeah. They had to change the prices.
Yeah.
Because he
At
was
Sunday
buying
school.
all the Lego sets.
At Sunday
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Man,
So it's
that guy's
teaching
after my heart.
It's teaching them this like way of like operating in the world where they know how to get things done that they want to get done. I also think that they just have no concept of being uncomfortable around different kinds of people.
They're comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, like
They
it doesn't
seem
matter.
very comfortable.
Poor, rich, white, black,
No.
whatever you're from.
Yeah.
My kids are like, well, that's fine. We grew up with kids just like this.
Yep.
And then I think it's also kind of given them a sense of like they've been in the struggle a little bit, and they're going to have this kind of drive to go do something with life because they know that life is not a given.
There's a bit of wisdom in them. As you're talking and I'm reflecting, even being at your house Sunday or in the men's corner with them, there's a sense of gravity, not weight, not depression. There's a sense of they don't seem like they can be pushed around easy. They seem strong.
No, they are. I mean, I think it's made them strong. I think they've experienced, you know, the ups and downs, and they're around people. I mean, like if nothing else, the player that passed away last April, their dad was over kind of helping me rebuild my fence, and he said, like, you know, he turned to one of my sons. He said, "You're going to wear Neff's number when you play football."
Wow.
And that's like the seriousness, right, of carrying that,
the weightiness.
Yeah. That's right.
And now he has the responsibility.
That's
your
right,
son
to carry it forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what number? What did Neff play?
He was a defensive offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what if your kid wants to play quarterback? He's going to wear a big.
You know, I mean, these are the things that.
Yeah.
Who know? I mean, you know, who knows even if they'll
I'm
play
just putting
football,
the
right?
I'm
You know
doing
what I'm
the math.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I think the idea though is that there's this kind of expectation,
Sure.
right? This weight.
Yeah.
It's not.
And how old's he?
The one he said to was 9.
9.
So
at
it's
9
just-
years old, he's got this already, not calling, but responsibility, almost expectation.
Well, because I think our culture lies so much. It says that we should raise kids to just be carefree. And I mean, what society on earth has ever done that? Has ever said like, oh, just raise your kids to not have any expectations and to not like have any kind of burden. And the truth is, the most successful people I've ever met,
No.
right? No. In their fields, in
Yeah.
what they do,
Yeah.
they grew up with a sense of kind of like burden. Like they grew up with a sense of needing to prove themselves, of like having people expect things of them. Now you don't want to weigh them down too much where they break.
No.
You know, but you do want to kind of give them this sense of like, okay, I need to get up and go get it. And I think, you know, bringing them in, having them grow up here is giving them that.
It was such a blessing seeing. Was that the 9-year-old in the tree getting lemons?
That was a 7-year-old.
7-year-old.
Yeah.
Giving out lemons to people that were in your backyard. Go get us some lemons, and he's up in the tree.
Yeah.
No back talk, no nothing. Go get the lemons. No fear, just blessing. Here,
Yeah.
handing out lemons.
Yeah.
Other brother helping him. Didn't tell the other brother to go help him. The other brother's pointing him out.
Well, they're not, I mean, they were on their best behavior because of you. You know,
No.
they're not always that.
No,
that's,
because of the company.
yeah, no, I know.
Not me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, how many books are in the bedroom?
A ton.
And there's 9, 7, and 5?
No, 11,
11,
9, 7.
And
then the 5-year-old's a girl.
girl. And then all 3 boys in bunk beds in the bedroom.
Yep, one room.
One room. No TV.
No,
No iPads.
no,
Books.
yes.
And they're athletes.
There's TV in the living room.
Yeah, no, you're not anti-TV.
No.
But it's very interesting how you're raising your kids.
Yeah. A lot of time outside, a lot of time reading, building Legos. A lot of time, I mean, they watch some TV.
Sure.
You know, a lot of time reading, a lot of time playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
A lot of time playing sports.
A lot of time playing sports.
Yep.
Yeah. Middle 2 especially. The oldest one, he's a hustler. I mean, I don't even
Yeah.
know. It's like he's got great students. They're all great students. Play piano. You know, it's a busy life.
Wow.
And a puppy,
And what'd you name the puppy?
Odin,
Why?
because we take pagan gods and we name our dogs after them. It's pretty good, huh? It's pretty good. I practiced that line. Yeah.
You're peculiar.
Thanks.
Yeah. And what time we got good time. What I got a list of couple
Go
of
ahead.
questions.
Yeah, ask.
You know, I heard that's your job, your family, your neighborhood, and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's one to be admired. I'm just sitting here again going, man, I wish you lived a block from me when I was in high school or was one of my teachers for a moment. You wonder what would have happened, you know, and I just can't thank you enough for investing in people for the sake of the greater community and for them and their grandkids yet unborn.
Yeah.
The ripple effect on what you're doing and giving to this community is chilling. And it's only 9 years in. How long do you think you'll be here? I mean, you're head of the union. What are all your credentials?
Yeah, so I'm the head football coach. I teach English. I'm the English department chair. I'm on the board of the union. You know, I have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And effectively.
Yeah.
What's your favorite quote? Do you have one? If you don't, you don't.
No, I don't think I do. I can tell you my favorite scriptural verse.
What? Is it?
It's from Luke, right? Do you know this one? It's
No,
Luke
but I can-
14:22, I think, where he says Peter says here's 2 swords, and Jesus says that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah,
We don't need more than 2.
just 2. That's all you need.
Why is that your favorite?
I think because it's this
random?
moment. Oh, it's random, but it's also this moment where like they're completely misreading what he's saying, and they're being like, "All right, we're going to start this war."
Oh,
right?
gotcha.
Like let's go. We've got 2 swords, and Jesus is like, "That's enough." But the Bible doesn't say that he meant like that's enough swords to fight, or
Yeah.
you only need 1 sword, or
Right.
like shut up.
Yeah.
It's time for you to stop talking. Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
enough. You
yeah.
know, like it's kind of left out there. So it's just this great moment.
Yeah. And as a teacher, I'm
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It happens
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. And as one who's bringing a revolution of sense of
Trying to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one that's been around for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
It's not a new revolution, but we keep missing it.
Yeah.
We keep getting all wound up.
Yep.
Can you tell me what you wanted to be? Think back, 12 years old. What did you want to be?
NBA basketball player.
Really?
Yeah.
So at 12, who'd you want to be like?
David Robinson.
Really? He was a stud.
He could run the court, dunk, you know, jump. He was the big man that kind of revolutionized big men. You know, he was the first true center that could run.
Yeah, he could
So,
move. He was
yeah.
yoked. Came from the Navy, right?
Yeah, Naval Academy.
Yep.
Yeah, just loved what he stood for. Yeah.
And so I've done 8 of these podcasts now, and I'm going to do 50. I've asked that question to every one of them. And there's such a parallel. And that's the most random answer that I've gotten.
Okay.
Because everybody else, it's really similar to what they end up doing in their life.
Well, so here's the similarity. I think.
I picked up 4, but you tell me
ahead.
what you think. No, go.
So, I mean, sports play a large part
Sure.
in what he does, plays a large part in what I do. He used sports as a platform to do a lot more, right? He's a Christian man and does a lot of work in his community, the community of San Antonio. And he he kind of played the game differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't like everyone else.
He was peculiar.
He was peculiar.
He changed the game.
Played for a small market. Everyone thought, you know, why would you play for the Spurs? Go play for the Knicks or something like that. But he played for the Spurs, and he finished his career there. He didn't go anywhere.
He stayed. He was rooted.
Stayed there. That's where he retired.
Yep. You said something else. He ran the court. And you're a great leader. I mean, you see the court. You see what's happening. You know when to pause. You know when to go. At school, at home, in the community of men at where we do our work together. It's interesting. It's just interesting as I ask these questions about the 12-year-old me. I wanted to be an architect, a builder.
Yeah.
And I ended up building businesses, ministries.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, and designer.
Makes sense.
Makes sense, but in a different form.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine me at a desk and pen and paper all day or at a commuter? You know what I mean?
Your coworkers would shoot you.
Hey, define, if you could for me, what a hero is. What's a hero?
Like, what do I think it is?
Yeah. Well, define your definition
Sure. I mean,
of what a hero is.
Yeah. A hero is someone who has the courage to step outside the place of their comfort, take on the enemy, succeed or fail, and return to bless the community that sent them.
Succeed or fail.
Yeah.
That's Joseph Campbell, yeah?
I think it is. Yeah. But I mean, it's
all everywhere.
It's everywhere. But yeah. Succeed or fail. Because, you know, sometimes you'll succeed, but not in the way that you set out.
Return to the community, even if you fail.
Yeah.
What's in that?
Because what you'll bring back with you isn't the thing that you left with to go find, but you'll bring back what you like if you
what you gained.
What you gained. Yeah.
Even though it feels like you lost.
Even if it feels like you didn't get what you wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
I see that most influential people, not the most, a lot of influential people today in any circle have failed way more times than they've ever succeeded.
Sure.
And have learned the most from their failures.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're so afraid to fail in this culture. Why do you think that is?
Ooh, good question. I think I don't know that we're afraid. We've made it almost impossible for people to be satisfied. Right?
So you're always out.
Like contentment is an impossible thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you don't fail, you'll never be happy. I mean, if you don't succeed, you'll never be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of puts this burden on people to want to always succeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, godliness and contentment is great gain.
Mm-hmm.
And we've effectively as a culture made it almost impossible for people to be content.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was the lady who invented Lululemon, if we can mention Lululemon yoga
Sure.
pants in the Hayward High locker room.
I think we can.
Mark's here.
Yeah, that's the first time.
First time.
First time.
Her dad would gather the family every night, I think it was her, at dinner and say, each around the table with all the kids, what did you fail at today? With eagerness in his face.
Wow.
What'd you learn?
Wow.
Yeah. That's a great.
I think what I've tried to teach my kids and what I try to teach my players is failure is not the external, it's the internal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my son, I don't care if they win their basketball game.
No.
If you didn't play hard, you failed, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
failure is an internal thing. Obviously, the external matters because you're going to lose your, if the business is not making money year after year, you're going to lose your job. And, if you're not winning, you're going to get fired. But the truth is that failure isn't always external in that way. So, yeah.
Rich, who's your hero?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know that I have a specific hero. I have a bunch of people that I look up to who are alive.
Give me a couple of heroes.
I mean, Jack Del Rio is one.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's just an amazing man. I think my father is another one. My grandfather. In terms of like historical figures.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
So why is Jack a great man?
Jack's a great man because he came out of a place like Hayward and never forgot where he came from.
He's always here
And is
helping.
always blessed this community and blessed these kids in this school.
He's David Robinson.
Yeah, I mean he's an amazing man.
Yeah.
So,
and your dad?
And a man of faith at that.
Yeah.
Right? Like a strong
Deep
man
convictions.
of faith. Deep
Yeah.
convictions.
Yeah.
Believes in things and lives them out.
Yep.
Right? It's not doesn't just talk about it.
Yep.
In fact, I don't think he ever talks about it.
Nope.
He just does it. Right? It's pretty amazing.
Yep.
My dad grew up on a farm in the Central Valley with 2,500 people in it. The dad who didn't graduate high school and a grandfather who lived next door who probably couldn't read but knew how to run a team of horses pretty effectively. and he ended up getting his master's and, raised 2 sons who went to college, and he went to college and lived in Danville and,
Made it.
He made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In history, heroes.
I think Abraham Lincoln is one of them.
Really?
Oh yeah. Talk about a guy who just did things that no one agreed with, who stood against the tide of the day, was willing to take chances. I mean, one of my favorite things about teaching my students is none of them know that Lincoln freed the slaves before they'd won any major engagements.
Right.
That's just insane.
Right.
That's like, it's like you haven't won a major, in fact, you've lost the major battles for 2 years, and you're still going to act like you're somehow in charge.
And you're winning. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, just acting in those ways, contrary to what it looks like.
Going against the grain. So
right?
You've always been attracted to peculiar people.
Sure. Yeah.
It goes upstream.
Yeah.
Against culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another historical, I forgot to turn the air on. Man.
There you go.
Another historical, one more.
Historical hero. Someone who I admire. I mean, like, let's go Socrates. I mean, like, obviously Jesus, right? But let's go Socrates, right? Because like, my favorite thing about Socrates is in the Apology. They're basically saying to him, you got 2 choices. You can either apologize for what you did, right, and admit it, and then we'll exile you, right? You'll be banished, but you'll still live.
Yep.
Or you can persist in this, and we'll just kill you.
Yep.
Right. And his response is like, hey, listen, I've been thinking a lot about this. I really feel like what you owe me is like free food in the forum for the rest of my life because I've done so much good for your people. Like, it's just like he just didn't care. He's like, you're all wrong, and I don't care.
You owe me. By the way, you owe me.
Yeah, you owe me, right? So let's make, pay up. And then they're just like, you're going to die now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I was just sitting here as you were talking about Jack Del Rio, and my mind, I'm ADD, highly distracted, and my mind went to my real only encounter with Jack was when the whole football team thought that I broke into their cars in the parking lot I'm now parked in because they were at an away game and all their stereos got stolen.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah. You didn't hear the story?
No, I think you've told me
and
this.
I had brand new Blaupunks because I worked for a car wholesaler, and the Porsche dealer would sell me. I was your kid, buying whatever bucks. I'd buy the Blaupunk for $25 and sell them for $100.
Yeah.
Brand new, but everybody thought I had stolen stereos. So the football team gets their car broken into, and in this locker room, my name was going around and around and around and around, and by the end of the night, after they came back and all their cars were broken into, and they were dressed, they were going down to the pizza parlor on Mission, or Foothill, the round table where everybody would go after the football games, and looking for Mark Campbell. That little revolt started right here.
Wow.
Yep. And I sent a message. If you guys expect to buy a Blaupunk to replace those crappy stereos that somebody stole, don't screw with me. I survived it, baby.
Yeah, the market corner.
I had the market corner.
Hey, leverage your skills.
So a little bit of a moment there.
And that's another thing I think is growing up in a place like Hayward, you either learn to leverage your skills or you don't succeed.
Yeah.
Whereas in a lot of other places, you just kind of like get through, like for whatever. You don't need to learn that. So you've got all the leverage you need already.
Right.
Yeah.
Really amazing. Justin, you are peculiar. This is the beginning for you. It's an honor to just get inside your head and heart a little bit before you, before the ripples start. It's just, you've sowed great seeds. You've invested. You're rooted. It's just the beginning, and I can't wait to see what the creators, our good Lord, is going to do with all that.
Thank you.
And your family and your kids and this community. It's a joy and a privilege to even walk the earth with you, and I learn a lot from you.
Thank you.
And thanks for parking a little bit with my 6 friends that listen to us on the podcast and the YouTube channel that get so encouraged. And we are learning to embrace the lessons we're learning from people such as yourself, and learning how to put them into motion in our own lives and continue upstream in the things that we feel a little different about.
Amen.
Yeah. Thanks again. Have a great day.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I sure hope you were blessed by Justin's interview. I know I was. And again, I was encouraged, inspired, and challenged to continue in my pursuits, this being one of them, just a small part of my pursuit. I hope you were, and I hope you've been just re-inspired on what it means to be fully human and fully engaged and entrenched in a community. The way we can impact the people around us by just living our lives in genuine faith, simple faith, living a simple life with huge impact. Hope you're blessed. Subscribe to it, our podcast, whether you're on YouTube or iTunes. Like it. And again, I'm so glad you're part of our community, and I hope to have you checking back in with us next week. Peace out.